Hi, Dave from Digital Foundry here, back with a more detailed look at the Wilderun version of the crew across PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. This latest update applies some dramatic graphical changes to the game. Shaders, lighting and post-processing all seeing considerable change across all formats. But the question is, are these improvements deployed equally across both consoles, or do we see one version oust the other in certain areas? Well, in the original release, image quality was more consistent on the PS4, while reflections were rendered at a slightly higher resolution on Xbox One. But on the whole, there wasn't much of a difference to separate the two from each other outside of performance, where the Xbox One version commanded a small advantage in some scenarios. So taking a look at the Wilderun update, the gap in terms of overall image quality has diminished, with both consoles handing in an identical presentation in all the key areas. Artwork and effects are matched, and both versions run natively in 1080p, with the same standard of anti-aliasing. Dynamic time of day means that lighting and shadows can sometimes appear in different places due to variances across multiple gameplay runs, but otherwise we're looking at a visually identical game. All of the upgrades new to the Wilderun are present on both versions, and as a result the crew now looks considerably more refined. Image quality is slightly more consistent than before, with the distracting artifacts around geometry edges from the original release eliminated from both versions of the game. However, as you can see here, jaggies and pixel popping is still a major issue, and coverage is pretty poor across many surfaces. That said, there are major changes in other areas of the game, and these transform the look of the expansive North American landscape for the better. For example, the switch to physically based rendering, along with a reworked lighting model, results in environments that appear a lot more authentic. Material properties are deployed across objects that dictate how light is reflected. So for example, brickwork that's situated in the shade might have a matte appearance as light is diffused across the surface. Meanwhile, tarmac under the midday sun takes on more of a specular component, resulting in more of a shine on the road. The new lighting model also sees the aesthetics of various locations completely transformed. Many of the scripted lighting conditions in the main missions now take place at different times of day compared to the original release, perhaps to make the most of the improved lighting on offer. Sometimes this adds a more realistic feel to the game, but on a number of occasions we felt that some of the artistic changes removed the atmosphere from certain events, such as the Xfinity Challenge, which no longer takes place on the backdrop of a late evening sunset. In other areas we see improvements to post-processing. Motion blur is now more heavily deployed during gameplay, while depth of field is given a more advanced implementation that adds a stronger blur to outer focus areas of the screen. New shader effects are also used to improve reflections and car bodywork, so these elements are now more faithfully recreated than before. Meanwhile, dynamic weather is added in the form of raindrops and thunderstorms, causing puddles of water to appear on the road that affect car handling and grip. Underneath all of these enhancements, the core artwork remains similar to the original release, although there are some texture changes deployed throughout the game. For example, certain buildings feature a change of brickwork that helps them to better blend in with other architecture in the same location. So overall, Wilderun delivers a nice improvement to the original release, and the good news is that these changes are deployed to the same standard across both consoles. In addition to tweaked handling and physics, all of these enhancements come for free in the latest patch for the crew, which is a rather nice bonus. However, all the extra content in the form of new cars and events can only be unlocked by buying the Wilderun DLC, so you'll need to do that if you want to experience everything the update has to offer. Well, that's it for now. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, while you can show your support by subscribing to Digital Foundry. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.